What?
And hello there guys, welcome hello there guys and welcome to another live stream. In this and in this live stream we'll be continuing where we left off earlier. It's just I had to shut off my laptop after I had to hook in the very adapter that Bullpros want me to use. Like I hooked in my 1 TB SSD, got it completely cloned, had to do some extra little bit things, had to even make sure that the CMOS had to be reset for some reason. But after that was done and everything was good to go, that basically we're all ready to just roll. So right now I'm having just a whole bunch of games that I feel that I want to be moved onto there, and other games to be installed onto the because just like Bullpro, I've had to basically have the very I had to basically, like you're seeing here, I had to basically make I had to make the unallocated space into just a separate drive. Like I couldn't resize the Windows partition. I had to just instead resize the, I just had to like make the spare storage into a as a separate kind of SSD. So I just have a whole bunch. I'm having a whole bunch of games. I have my secondary drive moved to the SSD, and then of course some games I would like to have on the SSD, but couldn't due to Windows being how Windows is. So and of course if Windows ever gets to the point again where where the whatever very few games I have stored on the booting part of the partition of the SSD, I would have to get things moved again.
Hey, Louis
While
Rossman
we
beat me to
wait
the
though,
punch and released a video on essentially the same topic. His video was great, and I'll link it in the description below. I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. In fact, I'm going to reiterate a few of his points, but I think he left a few things out that I think are contributing to the issue. And that issue is how easy it's becoming to justify piracy. But before we get into that, we got to pay some bills. So check out today's sponsor. Is your copy of Windows 10 on a CD key? Super copy of Windows Pickup a % disc has changed. Deal with that. Apple.
Boom. That's up.
You know what do was seriously and almost that they installed a long hit system for the PC. I'm product key you just purchased and hit activate. Now you don't have to deal with that stupid watermark that come with running an unactivated copy of Windows 10. Now, on with the video. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say right from the beginning that I think the majority of piracy is the fault of publishers. I know, this sounds a lot like blaming the victim for the crime, but in this case, I think it's true. Publishers have a long history of doing
yeah, there's just some companies out there that are asking you to pirate. And it wouldn't be an issue if they were undercover making themselves customers. I don't think a certain person's going to be coming out here, so I'm just going to have the webcam like this. So yeah, for those that have wallpaper engine, I'm just gonna move this out of the way. It's just a I say this is pretty clean how it is. Like, it isn't really showing any kind of nudity that I can know of.
really stupid things to try to curb piracy. Sony installed rootkits on people's computers in an attempt to stop
Like, if
them
some
from
people are
ripping
picking about that,
CDs.
then maybe we should complain about people just showing their faces or their hands if they want to complain about that
record
much.
companies spent almost a decade suing people for downloading music. That was honestly a PR disaster. But the one thing it didn't do was stop people from downloading music. You know what, in fact? Do you know what did stop people from downloading music? Apple.
Boom. That's iPod. I happen to have one right here in my pocket, my friend. There it is, right there. So, this amazing little device holds 1,000 songs. And it goes right in my pocket.
I rag on Apple a lot, and honestly, I think they're an awful company, and they deserve all the criticism that I give them. But you can't deny the fact that they revolutionized the way that we purchase music. But you know who made it better? That was Amazon. They may not have been the first ones to do it, but they made purchasing music even better by actually selling MP3s without DRM. Do you notice the pattern here? People were not downloading music because they didn't want to pay for it. Digital music services proved that. They downloaded music because they didn't want to pay for a whole CD, and they just wanted one song. When I was a kid, if I just wanted one song, I could call the radio station and request it, and then sit in front of my boombox with my finger over the record button until they finally played it. Sometimes that took a while, if it happened at all. And it almost always had the DJ's voice over the beginning of the song, which, was kind of annoying, but it was the way it was. But then came Napster. They streamlined the process of getting just
I
one
was
song
out of
that
the
you want.
landing area.
It exploded and
It made
everyone
me
was
jump
using it.
around.
Then
I
Metallica
figured
turned
it
into
meant
Terrence
something was
and ruined
coming
it for
in.
everyone. The fall of Napster
Got my
didn't hurt
butt out of
piracy at
there.
all. In fact, it didn't even slow it down. It just made it even better. Ultimately, the bad guys were the record companies. And ultimately, they were the ones who were right. They just went about handling it the wrong way. What made piracy popular was the convenience of being able to get whatever
What don't
media
you know
wanted
now?
without the BS.
Other
When
than
Apple
snow.
launched iTunes, the convenience factor
Other guys
changed,
helping you
and
be
it
able to
practically
help
ended
us
music
operate
piracy.
how
Now,
much
you
longer
can jump on your
taking
computer,
until
find the
you
song
decide
you
to
wanted,
pull it
pay your
retarded.
99
Like,
cents,
once it is
and
up
Apple will
on
immediately
says,
put
"My
it
God,
on the
help
device
you
for
on
you.
go this song."
But you know what?
Also,
If you didn't have an
for all
iPod,
that you've done for us,
that's
everything
okay,
that's
because
pleasant
Amazon
sincere hand.
decided to go
Although you
one
didn't
step
have
further
to.
and sell music without DRM that you could put on any device you wanted. Now, today, when you want a song, the last thing you think of is pirating it, because buying it is just easier. Yes, of course, there's still piracy,
Love you.
and there always will be. But the vast majority of people today purchase their music from digital music stores. Back in the days of Napster, the reason why music piracy was so big, but movie and software piracy wasn't that big, was because everyone was on dial-up. You can't expect to download a full-length movie
How many
on
can
a
I take?
56K modem.
Blonde,
But
I
as
was
internet speeds
probably.
increased, pirating movies and software became a lot more convenient. So what would make someone rather watch a movie recorded on a camcorder where you can see people standing up in the crowd going to the bathroom in the middle of a movie instead of buying the DVD? The answer to that is easy: convenience. It's more convenient to jump on the internet and download a movie than it is to drive to the store and buy a DVD. I mean, it doesn't justify it, but it is more convenient. This started to become just as big of a problem as Napster was to the music industry. That was until Netflix. Netflix was to the movie industry what Apple was to the music industry. They made it more convenient to pay for movies than steal them. However, Netflix has never been perfect. For instance, Netflix started their streaming service in 2007, but it wasn't available on Linux or even alternative browsers like Chrome and Firefox until 2014. But regardless of their faults, they did take a major chunk out of movie piracy. But unfortunately, that piracy is making a resurgence. This is because the entire industry is becoming fragmented. You no longer just have Netflix. Now you have Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Paramount Plus, HBO Max, and honestly, the list goes on. I could be here all day. When I first signed up for Netflix, it cost me $7 a month. A week ago, I received an email from Netflix telling me that the price is going up to $22.99. Now, I get it. Prices change after 16 years. But today, for $22.99, you don't get the same service as you did when it was $7. In fact, it's not the same service at all, because if you want to watch Star Wars, you need Disney Plus for that. That's another $13.99. And if you want Game of Thrones, well, you're going to need to buy HBO Max, and for that, it's $19.99 a month. I shut off my cable years ago And to be honest with you, it's been so long that I don't even remember what year it was. But it's been a while. The reason I shut my cable off was because I was paying $80 a month. I was only watching a few shows.
I don't know there's more up
on
there or
Netflix
not.
for $7 a month. However, now it costs more than cable to have all the different streaming services, and you don't even get the benefit of a standardized interface. This is leading to more and more people just downloading the content they want from a BitTorrent site and using a program like Plex to watch it on their devices. Ultimately, it's not even about the money, but it's about the convenience. It's starting to become more convenient to pirate content than to pay for it. I mean, seriously though, think about it for a minute. Plex can categorize thousands of pirated movies and TV shows, and you just sit on your couch, go through the unified interface, and just pick what you want to watch and push play.
No, I
The
don't mind
reason
it.
why piracy is winning is because piracy is easier and more convenient. Ultimately, it has nothing to do with money. Well, to some people it might have to do with money, but for the vast majority of people, we are willing to pay for content. It's just easier to steal it. Now, I just want to say really quick, and I should have probably put this at the beginning of the video, I am not advocating for people pirating content. I'm just explaining why it's becoming common and why people are justifying it. And this finally brings me
Are you
to
streaming?
software piracy.
Yes,
The
I am
history
streaming.
of
Why?
music and movie piracy.
So you wouldn't
we've
want to do
also had
this?
software piracy.
Do you want to entertain the audience?
I have dailies to do.
Piracy. You know, actually, lots of game piracy, but probably an equal amount of Microsoft Office and Adobe Photoshop. And of course, the most pirated of all, Windows. Now, software piracy has always been dealt with differently than media piracy. I don't recall software companies suing their customers, or at least their would-be customers, for pirating software. But there have been lots of instances of pirated software being sabotaged by the publisher. There's lots of humorous examples of this, like in The Sims 4. When you get naked in the game, it pixelates the character model so that you don't see any inappropriate body parts. But if you're using a pirated version of the game, then you remain pixelated after you put your clothes on, and then the entire map becomes pixelated over time. Now, I'm sorry, but that's just hilarious. I think software publishers have all the right in the world to sabotage their software as a way to fight piracy. There's even been many instances where games will throw up random errors only for people who are pirating the game. So when those people go on social media forums and things of that nature to try to fix those random errors, they get exposed as pirates. Now, I seriously think these methods are just hilarious and a great way to get people to buy your game. However, where the problem comes in is when the game publisher
Oh,
makes the experience
sorry
for
there,
legitimate
Jade.
users
I didn't
worse
have my
than for
phone on the
pirates.
stream, so
There's countless examples of this. Like,
I'm sorry there, Jade. Let's see, hold there. Nice treat. Well, thank you very much. Let's see here. Let's see here. You're such a chap. Well, thank you. I like yours. Okay, well, I'm just really hoping that you mean that as a way that's not in the direction I'm thinking you're going in. Let's see, Riot Stream, huh? I keep trying to remind people that they need to put on protection before cooking that raw chicken. These sons of, I wonder what BoPro's doing. BoPro is, like I'm doing, just doing stuff with their, with the very much, more storage of a SSD. Let's see. It's a very S style. What do you mean? Like if you were to rank it? Well, I'm
Have you
gonna
ever
pop
had
up the
activation
stream on my
problems in
phone
Windows
so that way I
before?
would have an easier
you know
time
who doesn't have
seeing what
activation
you are
problems?
saying.
Yeah, pirates. In fact, the vast majority of anti-piracy technology is only burdensome to legitimate paid users of the software. Do you know who doesn't have to create a Rockstar account and install the Rockstar launcher to play GTA 5 or any other Rockstar game? Yep, you guessed it again. That would be pirates. Going back to Louis Rossman's video, lots of companies do ridiculous things to their paying customers that pirates don't have to deal with. Like Netflix will only play at 720p in a browser. So when I'm watching Netflix on my 1440p ultra-wide monitor, that I have to watch it at 720p, even though I'm paying $23.99 for a 4K stream, I shouldn't have to say this again. But guess who can play 4K streams on any device they want without restrictions? Yeah, that would be pirates. While this tactic of piracy hasn't been used in the music and movie industry like the example I just mentioned, it pretty much dominates the software industry. Practically every program you get has to be activated or requires a user account that you will never use again until you have to reinstall the software at a later date. While people
Hey, bro, where's that little phone stand that you was part of the?
Now, to the credit of the gaming industry, specifically Valve, we have Steam, which I have to say, I believe.
Where's
has
the
curbed
little
the
phone,
majority of
like,
PC game
stand?
piracy. I have to admit that I have pirated a lot of games in the past.
It's over here.
But I can honestly say that I haven't pirated a single PC game since Steam.
There we go.
In fact,
It basically
I even
just has to
purchased
go right
games
here and
that I
then
had previously pirated
right about here,
because
this is where your
it's
finger
just
will
so
be, and you have to
easy
click
have a game
upwards.
already in your Steam library. However, even that is falling
So let's
off the
see
rails
her.
with multiple game stores competing with Steam. Now, if all of these game stores
Could I
were
try to
just
use my
trying to work
phone at
off
the
same business
like charge at
model,
the same
then
time?
it would be fine. However, that's not
That's
what's
what
happening. Other game
guessed,
publishers
but-
are creating their own stores and then
Do I have
making
to
their
like
games
have my phone
available
like this?
It's really
in those
just a phone
specific
stand.
stores. So now, depending
Yeah, I guess
on what
so.
game you want to
It's
play,
just a phone
you have to
stand.
have multiple game stores installed on your
Wow.
system. Luckily, this issue
I wish
isn't
they'll
as
just
bad
have it
as is with
simply
movie streaming
hooked
services,
in a
but
way
it
where
has
I
the potential
could.
to. Ultimately,
Wait, I think
this
I
video
know how
is
to
not
do this while
intended to
seeing my
condone
audience.
piracy.
I'll
Yes,
just have
it can
to
be
have my
justified,
phone
but you have
slot
to
in
remember
such a
that
way.
Software and media doesn't just fall from the heavens. People have to make it. Those people have families to feed and bills to pay, and they can't pay those bills with everyone downloading their stuff. But ultimately, you're never going to end piracy. But the way that you curb piracy is to make paid content more convenient. Don't punish your paying customers for wanting to give you money.
Chase, wonder how you're
Ultimately,
doing, Volt
what
Pro.
little piracy will still happen will be overwhelmed by the paying customers that are happy to pay you for your services. But frustrating people is a great way to make pirates out of paying customers. Stop making me pay for 37 different streaming services because I simply won't do it. Just stop making the user experience for paying customers worse than it is for pirates, and piracy wouldn't be a problem. But with all that said, if you like this format of video, I've done a few of them. Check out this one here where I talk about the attack on free speech on social media. That one's honestly more important than ever. And YouTube really doesn't want you to watch that one. It's probably why they don't give me many impressions on it. As always, you guys have a great day. Impressions on it. As always, you guys have a great day.
Thank you very much.
proper thanks to President Donald Trump on his Merry Christmas video. So you guys, I'm so far I'm just gonna be pulling up whatever kind of videos are that. But yeah, it's really something that it's really something that like it's crazy that all you like for some people all they have to do is just pay something for just one time per year or even lifetime access to a VPN service and then just download whatever you feel to from others.
A few weeks ago, and I couldn't do a whole lot else right now, so I figured, let's go check them out. So this is the Salvation Army down in South Center in Tooele, Washington, and it's not my favorite thrift store around here. They don't get a whole lot of electronics, and a lot of it's pretty crappy, but what's strange is their collectibles case always has very weird, quirky things in it. I thought this Night Navigator might be one of those things, but it's just some kind of astronomy gadget, some kind of star finder or whatever. But check this out. So this thing, the TerraTech Synergy, I recognized it was a TV tuner right away, but I had to look it up, and I found out that it only does DVB-T, which is the European standard for digital television, which means it doesn't work here and never will.
So guys, the reason why I'm not loading up the game right now is because I'm having so many things transferred to the so many things transferring to the SSD, either a fresh install or something I have installed, but I just feel it'll just have it on the SSD.
Moving on, we have a Mavica, and I think it's a FD73. I can't quite make it out.
Thanks, Jay, but I don't know how sizable of an audience you have compared to me.
The cool thing is this probably still works. I've never met one that didn't.
Because depending on the audience, I may be the one ending up shouting you out, even though I really shouldn't.
This thing that happened very briefly in like the mid-2000s, right? So I was staring at this and I'm thinking, okay, it's an ancient flip camera, but Cisco? Cisco was associated with flip? I don't remember that. And wait a minute, Ultra HD. Now, I was under the impression that none of the flip cameras did better than like 480p, maybe 720p, certainly not UHD. Well, it turns out that, Cisco bought them in like 2009 and shortly thereafter closed them naturally. And this use of Ultra HD refers to 1280 by 720. So, wow, I didn't remember that at all. And if you see one of these for $39.99, you're going to regret buying it.
Yeah.
So moving on, we naturally have the big box of GoPro accessories. Every single time I go into this thrift store, they have a bunch of GoPro accessories. They're always different ones. I don't think the actual GoPro is in there. Maybe it is. I don't care. It's going to be like a Hero 4. Also, the worst webcams you've ever seen. Those probably look like flip phones from the early 2000s. And then we've got one of these, naturally. There's about 500 of these clogging up the shelves at every single thrift store in existence. Just your basic little portable laptop-style DVD player. There must be hundreds of billions of these things in existence. But fortunately, this one supports all the standards. DVD, Dolby, JPEG. Now, there's usually not much upstairs, but that is where they have the rest of the quote-unquote homewares, housewares, household items, and electronics. I'll tell you one thing about the Puget Sound region is if you don't have a TV and you're not...
Somehow there's a current video error. Jay, please stay tuned. I will be back. I just have to give this stream a restart.